Psalms chapter 3 is a psalm of David. Usually, if we know who the author is, it usually tells us up in the subheading at the beginning a little bit. This is a psalm of David. This is when he was fleeing his son Absalom. So, if you remember in 2 Samuel, David, as he got older, he at some point kind of wasn't doing so well spiritually and started to slow down and not be as aggressive as a person as he used to be. Absalom saw an opportunity to try to usurp the kingdom for himself. Remember, this is when they were trying to he tried to get ahead of the curve to get people to go with him. So David's fleeing Absalom, basically, and getting out of there. In verse 1, he says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God, Selah. So he's saying, as he's writing this as he's fleeing Absalom. So he's pouring out his soul in this moment, like in his own journal. He's writing this down, this poem of, so many people hate me right now. Life is hard. It's really, really bad, the situation we're in. And then he says in verse 3, but thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of mine head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill, Selah. So he's saying that God protects me, God helps me in my life. I pray and I ask him for help, and he helps me. So that's where he's putting his trust. Verse 4, I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. Oh, sorry, I just read that one. Verse 5, I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord, and thy blessing is upon thy people, Selah. So this is really fun to look at this idea of how he knows God is with him. God is there to help him, and it doesn't matter how many people they send against David. If God is on his side, that's all he needs, because the rest will be taken care of. God will protect him and will help him out. So really, really fascinating imagery that he's using in here, how his enemies have been smitten on the cheekbone. If you've been smitten on the cheekbone, you're hit. Whether that's a slap or a punch or something, they've been hit in the face, basically, and thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Now, why would that visually would make us seem like, why would that matter if you broke the teeth of the ungodly? Now, if you've broken their teeth, they've been hit really, really hard. It takes quite the punch to knock somebody's teeth out, and not just loosen the teeth a little bit, but really knock them. Not to mention, that means if you have less teeth, you are less powerful, basically. When by getting your teeth knocked out, you cannot speak properly, you cannot eat properly, it diminishes your power and opportunities. So he's not just literally saying you literally knocked the teeth out of people, but you have diminished their power. You've made it harder for them to live, to do things. Basically, those that are fighting against David are fighting an uphill battle, basically, because God is there to help him and take care of him, which is really cool. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you think about this psalm, how the words of this psalm seems to help you in your troubled times. When you think about it, if you had a really hard time in your life, can you relate to David in these instances here? Love to see those in the comments. We'll see you in there and in the next chapter.